Title: Wife started volunteering at an animal shelter 3 days a week to help dogs, or so she said. But she never mentioned anything about it at home. One day, I decided to sign up myself as a surprise. Frozen in horror and disgust. Start: I remember the sound first. The click of the lock echoing down the empty hall. It was distant, faint, but final. Like a door closing on a part of my life I hadn't realized was already dead. That night, I stood outside room 304, the fluorescent lights flickering above me, the faint smell of bleach and wet fur hanging in the air. My wife, Emily, was inside, with him. The security guard beside me looked uncomfortable, eyes darting to the screen as he said, "She brings that guy here every week, same time. They lock themselves in that room for hours." I forced a smile I didn't feel. "Let's check the cameras," I said. He hesitated, then nodded. We rewound the footage, frame by frame. There she was, my wife of 8 years, laughing. The kind of laugh I hadn't heard in months. Her hand brushed his. Then his arms circled her waist. They disappeared into room 304. And what followed didn't belong to a world I recognized. I didn't shout, didn't cry. I just stared. My jaw clenched so hard my teeth hurt. The security guard muttered something like, "Sorry, man," but I barely heard him. I was somewhere else entirely, slipping quietly into the cold place inside me where emotion couldn't reach. Emily and I were supposed to be solid. We'd survived layoffs, debt, and the slow erosion of routine. When she told me she was volunteering at an animal shelter, it made sense. She'd always loved dogs, said it gave her peace. 3 days a week turned into 4. They're short-staffed, she'd explain. I believed her. I even encouraged it. I thought it was her way of coping with stress. The irony burns now. How I admired the thing that hid her betrayal. There were signs, of course, the late-night showers, the sudden obsession with perfume she never used before, her phone always face down. But when you love someone, your brain edits the evidence to protect your heart. That ended the moment I saw that footage. I didn't confront her right away. That's what she would have expected. A fight, a confession, maybe even forgiveness. Instead, I planned. Quietly. Methodically. The next morning, I called in sick to work, drove to the shelter, signed up as a volunteer. Helping the dogs, I told them. The irony tasted metallic. For 2 weeks, I worked different shifts, smiled at her coworkers, learned names, routines. I found out his name was Ryan, another volunteer. Divorced, smooth talker, always in room 304 during feeding hour. When I wasn't at the shelter, I was building a trail. Financial, digital. I transferred our joint savings into a separate account under my name, slowly, in amounts small enough not to alert her. I installed a home security system and synced it to my phone. Then I called my friend Mark, a lawyer, and told him everything. He drafted the papers, divorce, asset protection, evidence file, all airtight. Every night I watched the footage again, not because I needed proof, because I needed precision. Pain sharpened my focus. 3 weeks later, I set the stage. It was a Friday, her usual shelter night. She kissed my cheek before leaving, smelling of sandalwood and deception. I waited 30 minutes, then drove to the shelter, parked across the street. Through the window, I saw the lights flicker in room 304. The lock clicked. My heart didn't race. It slowed. Calm. Cold. Measured. Inside, I told the security guard there'd been reports of missing medication. He let me check the recordings. I switched to live feed. They were there again, tangled, unaware. I recorded everything. Timestamp, date, clarity. Then I uploaded the footage to a secure drive and sent it, anonymously, to the shelter board, her boss, and her entire volunteer group chat. It took less than 3 minutes. By the time they were done, I was already gone. The fallout was swift. The next morning she came home pale, shaking. "Someone leaked something," she whispered. "It's all over." I sat at the kitchen table, coffee in hand. "What do you mean?" Her eyes filled with tears. "You don't understand. Everyone saw." "Oh, I understand," I said quietly. She froze. "You?" I looked at her, really looked. The woman I once trusted more than myself. "Room 304, I said. Just that. 2 words. Her face collapsed. She tried to explain, to cry, to reach for me. I didn't move. When I handed her the divorce papers, she realized this wasn't rage, it was judgment. Cold and irreversible. She left that night with a suitcase and shame heavy enough to crush her. But I wasn't finished. A week later, the shelter's director called me. Turns out, Ryan had a record. Inappropriate conduct at a previous volunteer job. Emily had vouched for him, lied to cover his background. The board investigated. Both were banned permanently. Their names were blacklisted from every shelter in the county. I didn't do anything else. I didn't need to. The world handled the cleanup. People ask how you move on after betrayal. You don't. You absorb it. Let it carve something sharper out of what's left of you. Sometimes I still drive past that shelter. The sign flickers. The lot's empty. Room 304's door has a new lock now. I imagine someone inside, cleaning cages, feeding dogs, feeling peace again. Not her. I don't hate Emily. Hate is loud. What I feel is quieter, like standing in a room after the storm has passed, surrounded by debris that used to be love. She once said, "You're too calm. You never fight." She was right. I don't fight. I wait. And when it's time, I don't miss. When I think of that night, the cameras, the click of the lock, her laughter fading into silence, I feel nothing. Because in the end, revenge isn't fire, it's frost. And I learned to live just fine in the cold.